Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to replace the front strut on this Opel Corsa C from 2003. To check if the front strut is bad, it's quite simple. You just press on the front of the car and the car should not bounce too much. So if let's say you lean your weight in the front and you let it go, the car should not bounce more than one time. So the first step is to lift the front of the car and place it on jack stands. With a 17mm socket, remove the bolts from the wheel. So if you have a look inside the wheel arch, you can see that the strut is connected on 3 points. You've got 2 big bolts on the bottom, which is connecting to the knuckle. Basically the whole weight of the car is transferred through these 2 bolts. Then you've got the sway bar end link, which connects again to the strut. And the fourth connection is under the engine hood. You've got this little black cap, which can be removed, and you've got one more connection. You can also notice that on this car you cannot adjust the angle of the strut because it's not a sport car or something, so there is no need to worry about that. First I'm going to disconnect the sway bar end link. For that I'm going to use a 19mm socket on this nut. From the back you're going to need a 17mm wrench to hold the bolt while you open the nut. Now it's time to undo these 2 bolts. It's a good idea to use some penetrating fluid on the threads. Use a little wire brush to clean up the threads and make it easy for the nut to come out. Then I'm going to use an 18mm wrench. And I'm going to hold the bolt from the head like that. And I'm going to twist from the nut. Do not twist from the bolt because that's going to be much more difficult. You got to open the nut. So I'm going to put my socket on the nut. So I'm going to use a breaker bar, so let's see. You gotta hold the bolt also, lift it in the same time. I'm going to open loose the second one from the bottom. When you do this type of heavy lifting, make sure that you do it with your legs and do not put a lot of tension on your back because when you get older you're going to feel it. So one bolt is out. The second bolt is out as well. Let's remove as well this wheel speed sensor. Now the strut is disconnected from the bottom. In order to disconnect the strut from the top, you've got an 80mm nut and a 9mm on top. So you can use a combination of an 80mm wrench and then a 9mm socket on top. Something like that. Or you can use a much easier option to have an 80mm socket but with a hole in it. So you're gonna be able to place your 9mm on top. That's gonna be much faster, as you can see. When you reach the final threads, place your hand under and hold the strut while you open the nut, and the strut comes out. You want to inspect as well this washer because it has rubber cushions around which will prevent it from making sounds when you go on a bumpy road. Now you can install the new strut with one hand directed back to that hole, and from the top be ready to tighten it a little bit so that the strut can stay. Place back the knuckle. So direct the first bolt. It's a good idea to place some thread locker on these nuts. Now the wrench will lean on this brake rotor and it will hold the head of the nut. I will put my torque wrench and I will torque it to 76 foot-pounds. Alright, so let's see. So in order to align the hole with this end link, I will have to lift a little bit all the knuckle together with the strut as well. Here it comes. Now it's aligned. Once the end link is in the hole, I can release the strut and let's tighten it back. The top nut should be tightened at around 35 foot-pounds. I'm not gonna put a torque wrench because I cannot hold the top of the bolt with a 9mm, so I'm gonna do this by hand. Let's see, something like that. From this point the job is done. Just go ahead and install the wheel, test up the new strut, go for a ride and see how it sounds. So yes guys, thanks for watching. If you are new to this channel and you want to see more car repair videos, hit that subscribe button. Also check out the other videos I made about this car. If you have this Opel Corsa C, it might be useful. And until next time, take care, so I can see you soon.